Most people with debt have a vague plan. Pay the minimums, hope for the best, and try not to think about it too much. That approach will cost you years and thousands of dollars. The good news? The math and the psychology of debt payoff are actually well understood, and once you see how it works, the path out is a lot clearer. Today we're covering 4 things: how interest quietly works against you, the 2 main payoff strategies and which research says is better, whether it ever makes sense to invest instead of paying debt down, and a tactic most people don't know they have, negotiating their rate down before they even start. Let's go. How interest compounds against you. If you've ever felt like you're making payments on a credit card but the balance barely moves, you're not imagining it. That's compound interest working against you. Here's how it works. Say you carry a $5,000 balance on a card with a 20% annual interest rate. That's roughly $1,000 in interest added every year, about $83 a month, before you've paid down a single dollar of what you actually owe. The minimum payment on a $5,000 balance is typically around $100 or $125, which means almost your entire minimum payment is just paying the interest, not the debt itself. And it compounds. The interest gets added to your balance, and next month you're paying interest on a slightly larger number. That's why balances feel sticky, because they are, by design. According to the Federal Reserve, U.S. households held over $1.2 trillion in credit card debt in 2024. The average credit card interest rate has been hovering above 20%. This isn't a minor financial inconvenience. It's one of the most expensive forms of debt that exists. The fix starts with understanding that every dollar of high-interest debt you carry is actively working against any other financial goal you have. That's the foundation for everything else in this video. Avalanche versus Snowball. Which method wins? When you're ready to aggressively pay down debt, there are 2 main strategies. The math says one is better. The psychology says the other might still be the smarter choice. Here's what the research actually shows. The debt avalanche means listing all your debts, ordering them from highest interest rate to lowest, and putting every extra dollar toward the most expensive one first, while making minimum payments on everything else. When that's gone, you roll that payment into the next highest rate debt, and so on. Mathematically, this is the most efficient method. You eliminate your most expensive debt first, so less of your money goes to interest overall. The debt snowball flips it. You order debts from smallest balance to largest, ignoring interest rates, and attack the smallest one first. When it's gone, you roll the payment to the next smallest. Here's the research. A 2012 study by Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management found that people who tackle small balances first are more likely to eliminate their total debt than those who focus on high interest rates. A 2016 paper published in the Journal of Consumer Research, later summarized by Harvard Business Review, found that paying off the smallest account provides the strongest psychological boost, because people measure progress by the proportion of a balance they've eliminated. Paying $300 off a $600 debt feels like real progress. Paying $300 off a $6,000 debt barely registers. So, the avalanche saves more money on paper. The snowball keeps more people on track in practice. Neither method is universally better. The best one is the one you'll actually stick to. If you have strong discipline, go avalanche. If you've tried and failed at debt payoff before, the snowball's quick wins may be worth the modest extra interest cost. When to invest instead of paying off debt? Here's a question a lot of people get wrong. Should I pay off my debt before I start investing, or invest while I'm still in debt? The answer depends on one thing: the interest rate on your debt. Think of it as a guaranteed return. If you pay off a debt charging you 22% interest, you've just earned a guaranteed 22% return on that money, because you're no longer losing 22% to interest. No investment reliably delivers that. The S&P 500 has averaged roughly 10% annual returns since 1957, And that's before accounting for taxes on gains and the fact that some years it loses money. High-interest debt almost always costs more than that. So as a general framework, high-interest debt above 8 to 10%. Pay this down aggressively before investing beyond your employer 401k match. Your employer's 401k match. Always capture this first, even if you have debt. If your employer matches 50 cents for every dollar you put in up to 6% of your salary, that's a guaranteed 50% return on that portion. That beats paying off virtually any debt. Low interest debt, below 5 to 6%. Student loans or car loans at these rates may be worth carrying while investing, since long-term market returns have historically exceeded those rates. This isn't a rigid rule. Interest rates, your income stability, and your stress levels all factor in. But using the interest rate as your benchmark gives you an objective framework rather than guessing. The rate negotiation. Most people never try. Before you even start your payoff strategy, there's one thing worth doing that most people never attempt: calling your credit card company and asking them to lower your interest rate. According to a poll by creditcards.com, only 25% of cardholders have ever tried to negotiate their rate. But of those who did, nearly 70% got a reduction. That's not a small number. That's most people who ask, getting a yes. Here's how to approach it. 1. Know your credit score before you call. The stronger your payment history, the more leverage you have. 2. Research competing offers. If another card is offering a lower rate, mention it. 3. Call the customer service number on the back of your card and ask to speak to someone about reducing your APR. Be direct, but polite. 4. If they say no, ask if you can revisit it in 90 days, and call back. Even dropping your rate by 3 to 5 percentage points on a large balance saves real money. And if negotiating doesn't work, a balance transfer to a card with a 0% introductory APR is another option. Just read the fine print on transfer fees and what rate kicks in after the promotional period ends. The point is, your interest rate is not fixed. Most people just never test it. So here's the full picture. Debt compounds against you every month you carry it, especially at high interest rates. The Avalanche method is mathematically optimal, but the Snowball has research behind it too. Choose the one you'll actually stick with. Prioritize your employer match before paying down low-interest debt, but attack anything above 8 to 10% aggressively. And before you do any of that, spend 15 minutes on the phone trying to get your rate lowered. Because 70% of people who ask get a yes. None of this requires a financial degree. It just requires knowing how the math works and having a plan. This is general information, not personalized financial advice. Consider speaking with a licensed financial advisor for guidance tailored to your situation. Subscribe for more how-to videos.